bright man rings them, fair the fall of songs when the singer sings them. Still they are caroled and said, on wings they are carried. After the singer is dead, and the maker buried, lo, as the singer lies in the field of heather, songs of his passion bring the swains together. And when the west is red with the sun
Well, what we're unpacking, and the title kind of gives it away, is I saw a machine listed for sale, and it was all the way over in England, which is, if you're not aware of it already, from England to Oconto, Wisconsin is just shy of 4,000 miles. And they were describing this as a parts machine, and it was priced accordingly. And I do not know what the provenance of this machine is, nor did the owner of it over in England. So we came to terms, and I said, send me the machine. I want to add it to my personal collection. So let's see what I bought. Let's see if I made a good choice, or whether or not it's going to be one of those choices in life where you go, oh, I wish I had passed on that. But I think this will be okay, assuming that it arrived without damage. Again, traveling almost 4,000 miles, that's a trip. That's, I mean, that's the equivalent of me shipping to Dan in Hawaii. A lot of stuff can go wrong in shipment. So let's check it out. I'll put a little bit more music on. And if you like that opening song, I'm guessing probably Bill did, because of the choral talent. That one was called Bright, Bright is the Ring of Words. Bright is the Ring of Words. So let me put on another one. And when I searched on YouTube, again for my royalty-free songs that I can incorporate into premieres like this, there's only 2 songs that came up under the search of English, and this is the second one that came up. Pretty sure I've used this in premieres before, this particular song. This particular tune is called English Country Garden. I'll tell you honestly, my first reaction is, for traveling almost 4,000 miles, this gentleman that packed it, or had the machine packed, this is a real flimsy cardboard box. In particular, when I compare it to some of the boxes that have arrived to the workshop from a number of you that have sent your machines here, the corrugation of this cardboard is real flimsy. It's real flimsy. So I hope that isn't an indication of what we're going to find. All right, and what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to cut down the side of the box so I can take this machine out the front. And I haven't intentionally given you any clues as to what this machine is yet. So let's see. Now, when I did that recent packing video showing me prepping that bentwood cover to go to Ohio back to Tammy Cooper, someone suggested as well that I do a video on how to unpack a vintage sewing machine, especially one that I packed. So this made me think of that, because when you get to this stage right here, you definitely don't want to use a cutter like this. You want to go to scissors. So that's what I'm going to do next, is go to scissors. And if you're using scissors next to a machine, just angle them away from the machine as you're cutting so you don't have a slip. So some real good padding on the bottom, but again, when it comes to padding, the thickness factor isn't always the key thing. It's whether or not it's going to have any give, and this is a little bit on the rigid side. So while it's a great thought, you want your packing, especially on the bottom where that package is likely to be dropped, you want it to certainly provide some rigidity, but you also want it to have some give as well. And this is not bad, but it wouldn't be my first choice to give that machine a nice, soft, cushy ride for almost 4,000 miles. All right, so let me move this box, and I will get our friend on the table, and we'll keep on plugging away here. Any clues? Any guesses? And I'll change my camera angle, because I'm sure with the having it out of the box now, it's not going to be lined up real well. So. I didn't pick this song intentionally, but it sure is suspenseful, isn't it? It's kind of cool. So where I would, as you've seen in my packing videos, where I would protect the machine on the inside core with about probably 4 to 6 wraps of stretch wrap, and then reinforce that with strapping tape, here they have a garbage bag. So I don't think my friend over in England has watched my packing videos. All right, again, angle the scissors away. That ended a little bit sooner than I wanted it to, but well, you can start to see now what I purchased from this gentleman over in jolly old England is a very, very early Singer hand crank. And you might be saying to yourself, okay, yeah, I get that, but where's the hand crank? It doesn't have one. Which is why the guy sold it, as he said, for parts. And he actually said he might have just tossed it into the dustbin, but he heard that there might be some money in vintage sewing machines. So he put it up for sale. So I do have some work to do on this to get it so that it'll actually be able to sew. Technically, you could sew now by just turning the balance wheel, as I've done for some of the machines that I've restored that are designed to be mounted in a treadle table. So it can still sew, but it's not complete at this point. All right, let me pick another song and we'll keep on plugging. All right, let's come off the tripod and take a closer look at this machine. If you're not familiar with it, this is called a fiddle shape as far as the bottom base of the machine. It's a fiddle type design. That's a real different Singer emblem, isn't it? And if you're not familiar with it, that's a very early stage vibrating shuttle in there. I definitely thought that this was worth saving. I just think it's a real cool example of a very early Singer hand crank. And if you're wondering, when I say really early, I'll kind of go around the machine a little bit more first. And that's where our hand crank should actually be right there. You can see where they took it off. He didn't know where the hand crank had gone. I don't think he was real intimately aware of what the provenance of this machine was. Like I said, he was more of a dabbler and someone that thought, yeah, maybe I'll just toss it. And I think he had taken over a flat and it had been left behind. So, but who knows? I mean, when machines like this sit around, people tend to mess around with them. And they tend to get bumped around and parts taken off and parts, you know, lost. But, oh, I know what I was going to share with you. Just a little bit more about, I talked about it being a real early hand crank. How early are we talking? This particular machine is from right around 1885. Right around 1885. So you can do the math as far as the age. And the model of this Singer is called a 12K. Kind of like a 12K run, if there is such a thing. And again, the base of the machine is a fiddle base. But it really is, I think it's a machine that has a lot of potential. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to it, to be perfectly honest with you, because I have so much going on right now in the workshop, which I am extremely grateful for. But I think it has the potential for a real cool restoration. And I can actually see this potentially becoming a machine that, you know, might go up for sale. I don't know if I will or not. But I think it is probably one of the oldest machines that I've had that I bought personally to add to my personal collection. And you know, again, it's gonna take a little bit of work, but that's okay. Just seeing if there's anything else that I want to share with you that's interesting about this. I think the other thing to point out, and it's fairly obvious for any of you that have seen other machines on this channel that have the vibrating shuttle design, is this particular 12K. You notice that the wells for the vibrating shuttle are actually parallel with the balance wheel. Instead of being mounted like this from front to back. I think that's called a traverse or something like that. I'll be honest with you, I haven't had a lot of exposure to this style of machine, a 12K. I've never had it on the channel before for sure. But it's a totally different setup as far as how that vibrating shuttle is going to operate. That's a pretty decal set, isn't it? It just wraps around the body of that so nicely. Not a lot of harp space on this machine, you can see. I think you can even see that in the shot from top to bottom. And I'm only estimating is probably about 4.5 to 5 inches. Now between the needle and the pillar, we've got a little bit of workspace. But let's just say that it's definitely not in the class of a long arm quilter. The harp space that you have to work with on this 12K is very, very limited. So, have any of you done the math? I'm just curious. If this is an 1885 machine, how old it is? I'll wait a second. You can just kind of stare at this really cool machine. What'd you get? All right. If you haven't typed it in the chat yet, then we'll just say that it's one of those contests where there's no winner. If you did type it, kudos to you. I'm talking 135 years old. 135 years old with this 12K that I just got out of England. Yeah, I'm really liking that decal set. And it even wraps around here as well. You can see that. There's just 2 screws holding that on. How interesting. There's our bobbin winder. And you may have seen when I took it out of the case, it separated from the base. So that'll be another project. There's the bottom of the base right there. And you can't obviously detect it on this Premiere, but there is a musty smell emanating from the bottom of this case when you take the machine away. So if there's ever been any question as to whether or not there's musty smells, boy, there's a mouthful. There's any musty smells in England, there are, because I'm smelling it right now. So there you have an 1885 Singer 12K that I just purchased as a restorative project for the future. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a handful, that's for sure. Well, what is life without challenges, right? What is life without challenges? All right, well, thanks for, I was just curious if that balance wheel is gonna, the balance wheel moves very nicely, but it is catching on something, most likely on the bottom. So it's definitely not frozen up. It's moving very freely. And Bill, if you're bored, or Hans, if you're bored over in Sweden, and you want to help me out and take on a restorative project, I'll ship this 12K to you. And then I know Hans is going to be making a trip to the US this summer. He could always drop it off at the workshop. That would be cool, huh? I'm joking, Hans. I know you got plenty to do there. I've been watching your posts of you guys getting slammed by snow and such out in Norway. So, at any rate, I think this will be fun. And if any of you have ever restored an 1885 Singer 12K like this, and you have some tips and tricks for me, because this will be my first restoring a 12K from 1885. I'll just say it up front. I've never done it before. So if you have any tips and tricks, I'm wide open to suggestions, because I'm going to take this in baby steps. And like I said, it's not going to happen anytime real soon with all the machines that I have to take care of in the workshop right now. I'm loving that emblem on the front right there. That is so cool, isn't it? That is so different. I mean, there's similarities to the ones on the more contemporary. It seems funny for me to say contemporary as I'm referring to machines probably from the 1920s and 1930s. But when you're dealing with a machine like this that's, 135 years old from 1885, it has bragging rights to say, yeah, I've been around a little bit longer. So, anyway, thanks for kind of tuning into this. And I'll wrap this up with just a little bit of music. And give you one more quick walk around this 1885 Singer 12K that I purchased from England for my personal collection. Oh, I didn't think you could resist, Dr. Singer. This is one of your babies from really, really, really early 1885, Dr. Singer. All right, well, stay tuned for other interesting unboxings like this, where you'll see machines that you probably have never seen on this YouTube channel before. And again, as I wrap it up, this is an 1885 Singer 12K that I just got in from England, and it's a future project. I don't know how far in the future, but it's a ways out. So God bless, take care, and keep on sewing. Keep on sewing. Bye, Dr. Singer. Bye, Dr. Singer. If you didn't see it, he waved. He waved really quick.